What's going on, guys? Phil Birch here from Unfun Stuff, and I kind of want to do a post Orlando regional tier list because I think it's very clear that I made some fucking mistakes, and I wanna right that ship. Guys, I think I want to right the wrongs that I have made in the past. Yeah, and I think that in order to do that, I think the best way for me to do that would be to really kind of move stuff around that I saw and witnessed doing like above and beyond what I expected to have happen at the event. First and foremost, my A tier is way too big. that that is for certain. So A tier is too big. This guy has to go down here, and I think so does she, and so does he. I think our A tier is actually, after really seeing what was doing well at this event, I think it looks something like this. I think this is what the A tier looks like. I think we have these four characters. We don't have necessarily the S plus. I think we have these four characters in no particular order. Um, I'd say that I think these three particularly in no real order. I think this guy maybe is the worst of the four at this moment in time, but these guys right here are defiant. These guys are defining the meta at an actual exceptional rate, and I think it is pretty crazy just to like look at it as just a four person like big threatening guys with like a bunch of supporting cast. I also think I have to cut down the supporting cast a bit. I think May isn't necessarily there anymore. Um, I don't know if I like All Might 2 as much, Mina as much. Uh, yeah, I think this is what I like for a B. Now I'm really looking at it. And I have pretty decent reasoning why. I think Ochako can kind of hang out in here with these guys. I just don't think that it's necessarily as dominant from like a gameplay perspective. It doesn't cheat the way that these characters are able to cheat. It cheats in like a fairer, more fun and friendly way, I suppose, right? Where you do get to use your momentum very efficiently. You get to reuse very strong moves, but you're not necessarily like setting up a huge move like a Jiro or Tokiyami. You're not clearing your card pool and passing everything you want, like Asui on offense and defense, and you're definitely not playing the defensive game plan that Kirishima can play. I actually think that the life decks fit in the separate tier right over here. And like Momo, I think Momo life is actually really strong. So shout outs to Kevin and Nathan for being on the Momo. I know Nate plays her off a good, but he did play a really solid life list in the teams event, and it's really scary. Like it can do some crazy things. She's not necessarily way up here, but like it's probably something like that. Um, the life characters are good at surviving, right? They're very good at surviving, but they're not necessarily good at surviving some of the things up here. They're probably very decent into Kirishima, and I think that is a strong contending point for them to still be around in the meta. They're good at blocking. Kirishima doesn't want to be blocked as much. They're good at blocking. Asui doesn't want to be blocked as much. They don't necessarily have the girth to deal with Jiro head on all the time, or Tokiyami head on all the time, or even fourth kind all the time. But I think that they are still very strong. These are like what I look at as the big boys, right? These guys are kind of like the medium boys right here. If honestly, I should do something like this. Row below. We'll call this like B plus. We'll call this like B plus, and we'll put like Ochako, Toga, fourth kind, Eraserhead, and Momo in it. Where I think these characters are still going to be very strong. I think particularly Eraserhead finds his way into the meta very handily, assuming people are dealing with Jiro. If Jiro is like sticking around as a high number, this guy kind of moves like down to the back of B. Honestly, his game plan into Jiro is basically non-existent, so he kind of just gets washed. But I like this as my core pillars, building stones. But I do think that the gap between Asui and the rest of the field feels less vast than I gave it credit for. I still think she's awesome. I still think she's incredibly powerful. But these other guys are kind of hanging in there with her, right? Like, Maybe not necessarily Tokiyami. If you wanted to put Tokiyami at the top of B plus, I wouldn't be upset with that either. Um, then we have like the very solid, strong contender characters, right? Like Mineta 2 is great still. People have fallen off of him, but like I think he still provides a very excellent point to this meta where he gets to have an excellent interaction with a lot of the decks above him and a ton of interaction with the decks below him. Ochako 2 is still that beacon of like aggro strength, right? Like she's super strong. There's always going to be a little Ochako 2 near the top because of just how aggressive and how consistent she can be when she gets rolling. Kamui Wood is one of the best block. These two are like the best blocking characters in the format, right? Kamui Wood's getting to ready himself and just have not necessarily the most solid offense, but his defense is great. And then All Might 3 having a little bit of both, whereas defense is a little bit less good than Kamui Wood's. And then I like these three still. I know that these are not necessarily your big game changers. Midnight does keep showing up, guys. She keeps 6-2ing an event. She keeps top 32ing. She's just not quite getting to that top 16 point. And I don't think that necessarily means she's bad. I think there are a couple of players playing Midnight incredibly well. And they're just waiting for like one more piece to like really push her over the edge, potentially into like a higher seeding in the B. Kurigiri kind of feels the same way to me, but no one's really playing him. I'm not ready to give up on him being in the B tier, though, because I think the deck is very strong and very consistent. And then Denki is like, it just seems to be topping every event these days, so I'm very cool with it. As for C tier, like I said, I think it actually looks kind of something like this nowadays. I am willing to throw all of these dudes away because I don't like any of them. Like if you want me to here, we could go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Add row below. Let's call it B minus. And we'll put these guys in it. All right. I think that's how I feel about this situation right now actually, where they're not quite here, right? They're not awful. Like these characters aren't awful either. These characters just aren't good, right? These are not good characters. I would not take them to the event without extensive practice and hoping my matchups ran really, really well. And these guys are kind of like, they can beat up on shit down here. They beat up pretty heavily on shit down here. And they have some good matchups up in the top area, right? But they're not consistently good matchups. They're not like set and forget, like auto win, like stuff like that. So I like them ahead of the rest of the pack, but I don't like them necessarily anyways. And I think I'd put the side deck tier up here because I think this is noteworthy enough for me. C tier felt mostly the same. I am actually gonna move Midoriya up, and I think Tamarin will be very happy about that because I'm sending somebody down. Somebody's going down to the fucking trenches, buds. Cementos is going down here. And we'll put you know what? Yeah, we'll put Nomu up there too. We'll go with Nomu and Cementos actually. Let's put all three of them up there. Fuck it, I don't care. We'll make C tier a little bit bigger. And actually Ochako 3. I'm just kidding. We're just gonna move Ochako 3 in this area. Midoriya 1's super cool. I think that I'm convinced through enough repetition through Tamer and Cardwell and also watching other people play the character. Mitchell had a phenomenal performance in one of the provisionals. He got top 4. It was once again still one of those single elimination provisionals, so not necessarily the strongest evidence, but it's cool enough, man. It's cool enough of a deck. A lot of these things up here are a little bit predictable, so you do get like a free speed reduction, and it can compete with a lot of this stuff, right? Nomu probably fits somewhere in here. Here, you know what? We'll just keep making more. Let's keep making more rows, guys. Fuck it, we'll go C plus tier. And we'll put like Cero, Gran Torino, Midoriya. Let's do like that. Yeah, let's do that. I feel pretty good about that. I think this Midoriya doesn't necessarily suck as much as I gave it credit for. He does put some big stats on things, so we'll move him to D. All of this stuff is still garbage. Don't play this. Do not play any of this. All of this is bad. And where is Ayama 1? And this guy is actually super crazy. Brahma had this dude in his side deck. So maybe I put him in... I want to put him in side deck tier. I'm gonna put him in side deck tier. I'm putting Iona in side deck tier. There's nothing you guys can do about it. This is a crazy aggro option to have in the back of your like back pocket of your life deck because man, if you get tight lips early through either like back alley haymakers or just drawing them, you can absolutely blow somebody up on turn two or turn three. Like, yeah, I like him. I actually like him in sideboard tier. I think that's perfectly fine for him. So yeah, man, this is I think what I want to settle on as my meta. I like it. Like I said, I made a ton of mistakes that I definitely didn't realize that it was a little bit more diverse than I thought. Like I think that there isn't a Head and Shoulders best character, but there is a group of best characters, and then there's a tiered layer below them that I would not be surprised to see in top 16s. Like this is the tiered below them layer of characters I would not be surprised to see in top 16s, and then there's like a little bit of change in here in this area, and then this is the garbage can. They might as well delete all of these characters because they're all bad. But yeah, hopefully that is a cool, enlightening thing for you guys. I hope you guys do enjoy my second tier list because I think this one is actually a little bit more accurate. Um, yeah, love to hear you guys' thoughts once again. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, get the notifications on, boys. And just give me your opinions. Give me your opinions on all this. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong this time? Tell Nate DeWalt I put Momo up in B plus tier so he gets super excited. All that good stuff, you know? Anyway, dudes, this has been Phil Birch. Unfun stuff. Hopefully you enjoy this updated post-Orlando regional license exam tier list.